In the 4th century BCE, a Hindu prince named Gautama was born. Despite his birthright and his native culture, this young prince would one day go on to subvert his own heritage by creating a new spiritual school of thought, Buddhism. Hinduism at that time, like most widely practiced religions, was deeply entrenched in its nation's culture. The day-to-day life in what would later become the nation of India operated as a theocracy. That is to say that the religion of Hinduism dictated the culture of India. Every day, people would conduct religious ceremonies or pujas. The priests would discuss the scriptures or Vedas, and children were taught their mythology in the form of a story, such as the Bhagavad Gita. As the young prince grew, so did his outlook on his culture. He would come to ask himself one fundamental question: why do people suffer? The platform which Buddha built starts with the core concept of the Four Noble Truths. The 37 conditions or prerequisites for enlightenment became the basis of these Four Noble Truths. The Buddha maintained that it could take several lifetimes to achieve enlightenment. There is a difference between realization and enlightenment. Realization indicates a sense of connection with something greater than ourselves, something divine. Enlightenment is where one loses their own ego identity, fully merging with the divine consciousness as Buddha did. In human life, there is pain and suffering. Buddha focused on the fact that there is suffering, what causes it, and the path that leads to its cessation. Pain and suffering are more psychological experiences, whether conscious or unconscious. We undergo this mental suffering when we try to hold on to pleasure experiences. Due to the fleeting nature of life, our experiences become unsatisfying and uncontrollable. We all recognize pain and suffering in our lives, yet we might recognize this pain in different ways. If we are hungry, does desiring food cause pain and suffering? Pain and suffering are caused by desire. Buddha conceptualized desire as a type of thirst, longing, or greed, regardless if it was physical or emotional in nature. All of us have desires. However, as we achieve what we desire, there is the potential to crave and seek more. Thus, we remain unfulfilled. Some questions you can ask yourself are: does desiring enlightenment bring you pain and suffering? Does desiring knowledge and wisdom cause pain and suffering? Does desiring a greater sense of inner peace cause pain and suffering? For people to believe that pain and suffering can be alleviated, there has to be hope and some proof that it is possible. This can be challenging for many. With the drastic increase in stimuli and information overload, some people may become disinclined to even start the journey, while others end up dabbling in an attempt to find quick fixes. The act of seeking enlightenment has become increasingly difficult for people to buy into. Due to time constraints, increased stress, and various other distractions, there is little time to contemplate one's inner state of being. Do you have time after a long day of work, walking the dog, and catching up on Netflix to work on your positive human experience? Pain and suffering can be alleviated by practicing the Eightfold Path. Buddha's action plan to initiate this process is the practice of the Eightfold Path. This path is intended to guide people on concepts like the right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right meditation. We recognize that Buddha wanted us to contemplate deeply on these and their deeper meanings. We are bombarded with a billion-dollar industry of bestsellers and workshops in spirituality. Social media gurus have become celebrities, and every day there is a new surefire way to enlightenment. Then how come we are not having an increase in enlightened beings? Many people do not have a choice of the type of livelihood they would like. A significant portion of the world's population is living around the poverty line. World leaders have led people to feel betrayed. Wars are initiated by people who are convinced that what they are saying is right. Do you find yourself influenced on the path of human experience? So think of your world today as compared with the young Prince Gautama. Do you have the time and patience to follow his Eightfold Path?